Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the November 10th Al-Anon readings of Courage to Change and a Little Time for Myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. We'll begin with a little time for myself. November 10th. I'll just take a moment to look it over. The question of the day is, what progress have I made since coming to Al-Anon? The passage specifically is about a person who happens to be a woman who is Asian, who is also a medical doctor. And she starts off by saying that she appreciates how she can just come to an Al-Anon meeting and be herself and not have to fill the expectation of a specific role. She said that Al-Anon helped her improve and recover in many ways. However, when she was in the program for several years, she felt like she was at a standstill. And then she read a passage in Courage to Change. You may be familiar with it. I know exactly which one she's talking about a stone cutter who is cutting a rock, and it seems like it's just not working. And then the stone cutter keeps at it, and finally one cut at the stone, and the stone cracked open. So the moral of that story is just to keep at it. And that's what leads to personal healing and serenity. We're always making progress. It may be slower than we expect or what we want, or we may just perceive it to be slower or smaller than we want. For me personally, when I look at my progress since I first came to Al-Anon, I know I'm not a completely different person, but the way I view things is very different, and mostly the way I view things about myself and the world around me, how I relate to myself as fitting in to the world. Coming to Al-Anon was a huge learning curve for me as far as solidifying the idea that I am equally worthy of love, compassion, peace, joy as everybody else. For some reason, I was happy to extend those things to other people, but for some reason, I wasn't quite sure that I was fully worthy of it myself. And it took consistent work in my program, reading conference-approved literature, attending meetings, working with my sponsor, just continually focusing on myself and what makes me feel good in my soul. We don't talk about soul in Al-Anon. I don't think our soul is mentioned, I could be wrong, in any of the conference-approved literature, but in my humble opinion, the biggest work that's been done has been in my soul, because I truly believe now, based on the concept of humility that Al-Anon taught me, that we are all equally worthy of love and compassion and kindness and peace and joy. And so that's the most amazing progress that I've made. It also helps, I should note, that the person who, my son who was struggling when I came to Al-Anon, is no longer struggling. So not only did Al-Anon help me get through the crisis part of that challenging time, which was a miracle in itself, on top of that, I have become much more aware of what I need and how I can provide that for myself and be serene and joyful and peaceful and full of love. And then that extends outward in a very genuine, kind of unconditional love sort of way, while still detaching with love. It's a very, if you're listening to this and you've been in Al-Anon a while, what I said probably makes perfect sense. If you're new to Al-Anon, that probably sounds very difficult to follow. When I think about it, like when I'm hearing myself say the words, it's really remarkable that I've accomplished all that, and that I think that others in Al-Anon would say something very similar to what I'm saying. Perhaps you listening to this agree with what I'm saying and can say the same thing applies to you. So, what progress have you made since coming to Al-Anon? Great book. Great book. Now, moving on to the OG, the original. I'll take a minute and look this over. It's got a little tab. I really like this reading. This is basically, the slogan isn't mentioned, but it's basically about the slogan, one day at a time. About being realistic, about what's in our control, what we can do day by day, how this too shall pass. When we think about what we can do right here, right now, it helps to bring us more into reality, to decide like what's in our control, what's not in our control, things that are in the past or in the future but do not belong right here in the here and now. And whatever we can control, we can give to our higher power. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I really love that. And I am filming this on November 7th. I'm so surprised. I've never cut my video so close before. I don't know. I feel like it's just working out that way, and I'm just going with it. So the election has already happened. And this is my first video I've made since the election happened. And again, I just continue to pray for peace and love and joy and compassion and kindness. And all the good things that I've learned in Al-Anon. So we'll close out with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.